What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. Welcome to Hold My Nuts podcast, man, where I know you're tired of releasing on your keyboards, your laptops, and your desktops, and you're tired of being manipulated and dominated by female culture. You are in the right place. Without further ado, let's get into this video, guys. Today, what I'm going to give you or go over is a verse that talks about what to do when you are tempted, because you're going to be tempted. You're going to be tempted in a lot of different ways, and sometimes you're tempted and you're not prepared for it, or it's a situation where you have to make a split-second decision. Sometimes you can see it coming from a mile away, sometimes you can't, but in any scenario, you have to understand this one key point that I'm going to go over. So I feel like by the end of this video, you guys will really have a good understanding and a good grasp on what you need to do, you know, when you are tempted in those moments that are very, very powerful. Now, we're tempted every day with certain things, with what we see on social media, and primarily because our phones is pretty much where our life is. We're constantly on our phones, going back and forth through different apps, even though we're working, even though we're with family, even though we're doing certain things. Our whole life is encapsulated in this device, right? So it's only right that the majority of our temptations will be through this phone. Now, there are situations where you are tempted in more powerful ways, that will, even still through the device, but they're more powerful, unexpected, and you have to make a decision, and that urge and that temptation is so strong because you're at your weakest point is usually when you encounter these situations. When Jesus was up on the mountain and he had been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, Satan came to him and tempted him with food, obviously because he was starving, he was hungry, right? He tempted him with the nations and the kingdoms of the earth, right? Because he didn't have anything really, compared to what he could have had, if he had bowed down, which would have been nothing in comparison to what he got when he rose from the dead. So this particular verse, guys, I want you to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, just one particular verse. And it says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted above or beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." A lot of times when we get into these situations and we're tempted, the temptation can be so strong. And here's the tricky thing about temptation. And I'm just going to give you my own personal experience with this. When those temptations come, man, sometimes I want to go through with it. I just do, right? Because that's my other nature. That's my sin nature. I want to go through with it. I want to do it. I want to do it, right? But that you shouldn't do it, and you know that you have to at least fight and try to figure out, how can I get out of this? How can I escape this? But sometimes you don't want to escape, and that's just being human. That's just being made from the dust and being made in this frame and just dealing with the reality of sin and temptation. Sometimes you just don't want the way of escape. Sometimes you just want to give in. Sometimes you just like, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it full throttle. Even though you agree with the law of God that you know that it's good, right? But the temptation through your flesh is so strong. It's so strong that you just, you want to latch on, right? But what you have to remember is this. There is a way of escape. You are not left out there to dry. God hasn't left you stranded. He will give you a way of escape, and you might have to just stumble your way out of it, right? You might not get through unscathed, other than the fact that you didn't, bite the apple, so to speak, right? But you wrestle with the idea of giving in. Sometimes I wrestle with the idea of giving in. Sometimes I'm like, man, why is this wrong? Why is it wrong? I don't understand. Some of these things I do not understand. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But for the sake of my conscience at the moment, my conscience is weighing on me saying, oh, don't do it. So I pray for a way of escape. And in my experience, God will provide a way of escape for you. You just have to pray for it. You have to ask for it. And there'll be a situation, there'll be something that'll give you a way out of it. You just have to take it. You have to take it, right? But he will give you a way out of the temptation. And that's what we have to remember when we're being tempted. Now, I want you guys to understand something. You don't have these full-fledged, aggressive, potent, just crazy temptations every single day. But every now and then you get these real intense temptations, whether it be to commit some type of sexual act or to do something immoral. Maybe, you're scheming. You shouldn't be scheming on people. Whatever it is. There's a temptation that comes that, maybe you can do something unethical and get a lot of money. You know what I mean? And you're thinking about selling your soul for that moment, right? Those temptations do come, but you have to ask for a way of escape. And sometimes it could be a test. Oh man, listen. I was tempted today. That's why I was inspired to do this video. I prayed for a way of escape, and I was given that way of escape. It was granted to me, and I made it through. So that's why I'm telling you guys, and this is not the only time. God will give you a way of escape, but you have to pray and ask for it. You have to pray and ask for it. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. So understand something about your temptation. It's not something that is uncommon. So you're not getting hit with some type of temptation that the world has never seen before, right? So we can all identify with your temptation. Just like you can all identify with my temptation. So basically what this is telling us is, listen, calm down. It's not anything, there's nothing new under the sun, right? You're not the first to be tempted like this, and you will not be the last. Then it says, and God is faithful. So number two, you have to believe that God is faithful, that if he says that he'll give you a way of escape, that he'll do that. He will not allow you to be tempted above and beyond what you are able to bear. So when you do receive this temptation, you look at that verse and it says that he is faithful. You have to trust that the temptation that you are facing is not above what you can bear. So you have to believe that, okay, even though the urges are strong, even though it's intense, God is faithful and he's not putting something on me that I cannot bear. He's not putting something on me that it's just going to be impossible for me to resist. You have to believe that. And it says, but when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. So if he's going to provide a way out, ask for the way out. When you're feeling tempted, ask, God, give me a way out of this. Give me a pathway. Give me a lane. Give me an avenue. Create some circumstances. Allow me to squeeze and weasel my way out of this, so that I don't become a victim to the moment. Don't become a victim to the moment. You have to believe these things about temptation so you can have a chance to escape. Okay, 1, it's not uncommon. Okay, 2, God is faithful. All right, He's faithful. He's not gonna tempt you above what you can handle. So when you see the temptation and it's presented before you, understand that it's not above and beyond what you can handle. And number 3, when you are tempted, it says that He will provide a way of escape for you, man. Go back, check this verse out, meditate on it. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. And like, comment, and share, and subscribe. If you got value out of this video, man, hit the like button, man, because that really does show YouTube people are interested in the content. I see a lot of views on the video, but we don't get the likes up. But that's what helped push the content. So I appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna holler at you in the next video. Peace.